What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here with another video, and today I'm doing my running back rankings for the 2021 NFL draft. We've already had a video that's very similar to this. It was the running back and tight ends rankings, but I want to give you more of an infographic, show you guys what I feel, update the rankings a little bit. Obviously, there still is a little bit of wiggle room here because as I was getting towards the bottom of the list, I didn't even know who to put there. So we're gonna talk about some guys that could have been on this list, some guys who missed the cut, and why. So let's start off with the number one guy. That's Travis Etienne. He's an absolutely amazing running back. I think that he'll have a pretty solid impact day one on his team. He probably should be a more of a lead back, not like somebody who's going to take 20 to 30 carries a game, but somebody who should probably take around 15 carries a game along with being able to receive the ball maybe 5 to 10 times. Somebody who can be touching the ball over 20 times a game. And that's something that should have a very big impact. My only problem is that he doesn't seem to be complete. I feel like we saw him against Notre Dame get really, really stuffed. And there's some concerns with that. Obviously, he's not a guaranteed prospect. That's why I have him as I don't have really any running backs as first round picks just because I think this is a combination of where they should go and where they will go. I think that Etienne's talent is definitely worth maybe a late first, but again, it's just like there's so many bigger needs than a running back. And we'll see as we go down the list and look at their overall scores. There's guys who are in the third, fourth, fifth round that have comparable scores. Obviously, nothing close, but still good enough to where it's like, oh, well, if we get high end player here and then get a lower end running back, you've seen what happens. You look at Aaron Jones, who's getting paid 12 million a year, fifth round pick. So I think his potential is through the roof. Obviously, if he proves to be more of a fully rounded player, he's gonna be amazing. He has insane speed, really good. He's solid out of the backfield. If he just cleans up his act and is just a little bit more smooth, you got a perennial star. In my predictions, honestly, the Broncos. After thinking about it, I don't really think any team is really going to be like balls to the wall on this one. And if the Broncos do stay at their pick, I think that obviously losing Corey Linsley, that affects this. But if they stay at their pick in the second round, they could trade up to get ETN just to make sure that they seal the value. And something to note about this running back class: these top three are all number one in their own way because each of them fits a different role and a different scheme. And I think they're each the best for their own respective teams. So if I'm a team that needs somebody like a Kamara, I'd go with ETN. If I need a team, if I'm a team that needs a Nick Chubb, I go Javonte Williams. I kind of stole this comp from TDN because I just didn't really know where to go with it. And I thought Nick Chubb is actually a really good way of describing Javonte Williams, who I'm a huge fan of. Obviously, if you guys want to check this, the ratings, the potential on Javonte is a little bit lower. Obviously, he ran a slower 40, and he's much more of a balanced contact balance back. So I think he's going to be better impact down in and down out because I think he can just have a consistent impact on each play. But maybe he won't have that home run hitting threat the same way that an ETN would. So obviously, you see the overall is higher for Javonte, but again, the overall score doesn't determine their ranking for me. It just shows what they probably should be. And again, like potential impact, they all factor in. And, when you're taking one of these high running backs, it just depends on what you want to do with them. I think Javonte Williams is going to be great in an RBBC role as that power back who can be a lead power back, but he's just been so used to having Michael there to just continue rotating with him, Michael Carter. And that's the way he should roll. He's an excellent player because he's somebody who can just come with no previous reps and just kick it off and just light it up. So really big fan of Javonte Williams. I think he's to the Dolphins. It's a perfect fit. You have a lot of really good running backs there, but none of them that fit his role. They've already tried to fill it multiple times, and Jordan Howard didn't work. Obviously, there's a couple guys I'm blanking on that didn't work. So going Javonte Williams would be the best option for the Dolphins, and I love the fit. At number 3, you got Naji Harris. Again, he's going to be the Steelers type of main bell cow back. He's really good overall. There was a comp to Matt Forte for him, and I don't know. I don't. To be fair, I'm not. I used to not study Matt Forte that well, even though I was a Bears fan. I think that Le'Veon Bell is a pretty good one. Somebody who runs behind a good offensive line, has some good patience, pretty damn good out of the backfield, but is a true down in, down out threat. So I really do like Najee. He has the biggest day one impact over everybody. But again, I think the tread is starting to wear on those tires, and that lowers his potential a bit for me. So his impact, he's the best day one impact on out of any of these guys. There's going to be a first round running back to a team that wants to win a Super Bowl now. This is the guy. So for people thinking, oh, how could you put him at number 3? He's a number 1 for a team that has a certain mindset. And Le'Veon Bell, I think, is going to be a perfect fit. And to be honest, I think he's going to go first to the Steelers. I put him as a mid-second just due to that wear and tear. But again, I think the Steelers are going to take him late first. That's just my opinion. So next, let's go to the guys. Those top 3 are pretty much a consensus top 3, apart from Chris Sims, who has another guy who we'll be talking about very soon up in the top 3. But Michael Carter, I love Michael Carter a lot. Again, I think that he's just a downgraded Etienne. I love his ability. He seems like a LaShawn McCoy to me. Obviously, he is more of a one-cut back. And I mean, he has insane burst. And I love his variability of speed. It's a lot like what we're seeing out of Jalen Darden. I'm a huge fan of Michael Carter. You guys can see my scouting report on him at PTST, and I absolutely love Michael Carter. He's one of my favorite guys in this draft. He's absolutely amazing. I saw that one play against Miami where he just made someone look like a fool. And actually, for my report for Michael, I didn't even look at that game because I was just like, that's like cherry picking. You're getting the best of the best out of him, and he looks amazing. I think he's perfect fit for the Jets, where a lot of people put Etienne to, but this is a 3rd round pick that could have as much impact as an early second. So instead of getting Etienne, get Michael Carter, who, again, he has a similar potential. I mean, he has that LaShawn McCoy potential. And I think that you're going to get him for a lot better value. So we're seeing a bit of a jump in the drop in the overall, but I think that's pretty much everybody's opinion at this point. Number 5, we got Kenny Gainwell. So I just did a scouting report on this guy, speaking of scouting reports, and he is definitely, I see the raw traits there. That's why his impact grade's a lot lower than what most are. Obviously, Michael Carter probably should even be higher potentially, but Kenneth Gainwell's better with the ball in his hands. In the open field, I could definitely see him after the catch doing a lot better. My problem with him is balance. His balance is pretty garbo. I think that he really needs to work on that. He holds the ball on only one side, which surprisingly, this is the one picture that does not have him with the ball in his right. He only holds it in his left arm from all the tape that I saw. So glad to see that he can at least switch it to the right, but it makes it a lot easier to punch the ball out, and that's why he had 2 fumbles this year. Obviously, nothing to really worry about, but I just saw him go down on first contact quite a bit, and he showed the potential. That's why I still have him as my number 5 back, because I didn't really predict a team for him, which that's probably my bad. I probably forgot that one. But if I'm supposed to pick one right out of nowhere, honestly, I could see the Patriots doing it. They went after Hunter Henry, which was a Charger. Obviously, they used to go with James White and Dion Lewis. So Kenny Gainwell could be that real good pairing for the future with Damian Harris, because I don't really think Sony Michel deserves another contract on the team. Kenny Gainwell could be a really good weapon. People like to comp him to his buddy there in Washington, Antonio Gibson. I thought Antonio Gibson was a darling. I loved Antonio Gibson. I'm not as big of a fan on Kenny Gainwell, but he's an absolute beast, man. I think that his potential is an absolute beast. I just think that right now people are kind of brushing the fact that he can't break first contact quite often. They're pushing it a little bit too far aside, and you got to be able to push, and then you got to be able to break those tackles. So that's something I'm a little bit worried about. He does have a full toolbox, though. That's why I do like. Next is Jayvon Hawkins. I mean, I absolutely love the potential of Jayvon. Obviously, look at this. All these guys are really close. They're just different. Obviously, I comp him to Matt Breida, just somebody who could just fly. You get him around that corner, he'll just tear you up. And Jayvon's actually pretty good in the open field. I'm a big fan of him. I think that he could go and be a really good pairing to Robinson as well as Carlos Hyde. I believe Carlos Hyde was the one who was picked up by the Jaguars, former Ohio State running back right there. Jayvon Hawkins, he could be that nice little lightning to the thunder. And that's something that could be a really, really good asset for someone like Trevor Lawrence to dump the ball off to. He has game-breaking speed. He's super fun to watch. He opted out this season, but man, he is amazing. I love Matt Breida. I do like Matt Breida a lot, but I love Jayvon Hawkins and his potential. I think this is what Chris Sims put him as like number 3 running back or something crazy like that. Big fan of Jayvon though. Next, we got Jermar Jefferson. This is just because he tested poorly. He had a really, really low RAS as well with even worse, Demetric Felton, who didn't make this list. But Jermar Jefferson, he's pretty damn solid. I think that he's more of a home run hitting back. People try to comp him to Kareem Hunt, but I was just like, no, that's not a vibe. I think he has good breakaway speed. So Tony Pollard, I saw that as a comp, and I was like, I don't think he's as good as Tony Pollard, but we'll give him something like that. And without having Giovanni Bernard on the squad, I think that Jermar Jefferson would be a good fit on the Bengals. Keep him in the black, orange, and white. So I think it's a pretty solid one overall. Jermar Jefferson definitely has the potential there. Played very well at Oregon State. Next is the man who fell off the face of the earth, Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard, we saw him put up a 2,000-yard season a couple years ago, and you're going to see something that's down at the team prediction. You'd be like, wait a second, I saw that before. We'll talk about that in a sec. But Chuba Hubbard, you saw what he could be. He could be amazing. But right now, he just injuries along with a seasonal regression that just pushes his day one impact pretty low. But we know that he could get back to a very solid, like round 2 worthy back. And again, if you look at my round 2 worthy backs, I mean, you got 85 as their potential, but you got 77 as their overall, right? So obviously, we just spoiled the rest of them. Love that. But we're getting close to that range of the potential. So I think I like that. I don't know who to comp him to, but I have him going to the Steelers. They definitely don't have an answer there at all in that backfield. And if you're going to get Naji Harris, you can get somebody who's more of a relief back in Chuba Hubbard. So next, which I already spoiled, is Trey Sermon. So if you look at the score, he's a lot higher than the guys above him. My only concern, injuries. I think that he is absolutely amazing. I think he's a slower version of Todd Gurley. I saw that comp from out there, and I was like, that's honestly not a horrible comp. I'm a pretty big fan of Trey Sermon. Again, it's just the injuries, man. And he's not that fast. I honestly thought about copying him to Alvin Kamara or maybe even Jay Ajayi, but I think he'd be great for the Seahawks. He looks like a pure Seahawk back. A lot of people say Trey Sermon could be a Steeler. Would not mind that whatsoever. Again, hopefully he just stays healthy. I loved him over at Oklahoma, like him in Ohio State. And again, as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to do well. Those injuries do push down his potential quite a bit. But again, you see that impact day one. He's gonna be better than even Kenny Gainwell. He's tied at number 4 for day one impact. So again, for your team, if you want a day one impact, like the Steelers could, like the Seahawks could. Again, they got Chris Carson there, but I mean, 2-year contract that's not gonna really mean too much. Probably one of those years could be easily tradable. But Trey Sermon could be a day one impact on any squad, and I think that he'd be an excellent understudy to Chris Carson, and they'll be able to get him healthier too. And finally, at number 10, we got Elijah Mitchell. So, I mean, I saw the speed on this guy. I think it was like 4.32 or something like that. And I was like, holy shit. Because I knew Elijah Mitchell has been in the talks for basically being in like the top 10 for quite a while. I remember he was like in the 4th round conversation, and he has pretty solid contact balance. He has insane speed. And during the Senior Bowl, he looked really good too. So, I believe I'm talking about the right player. I hope to God I'm not, but Elijah Mitchell, from what I've seen, is pretty damn good, and I think he's being underrated. Jarrett Patterson's another guy I was thinking about putting here. Again, just it didn't really wow me when I watched him. Elijah Mitchell has had some plays where I'm like, wow. He's had some good blockers though. Robert Hunt, Kevin Dodson, to name 2 of them. So obviously he's had a pretty good offensive line, but I'm telling you, if he could beat that Matt Breida role on the Dolphins, which again, we've only had a couple teams in here. I thought about putting the Ravens on this list actually because I mean, Justice Hill's role is kind of gone. We've already seen that kind of fade away. So being able to have Elijah Mitchell on the squad might be able to fill in that role and actually complete it. Like most of these guys are going to be backups, but I mean, the guys who could actually like really start, I mean, Trey Sermon would be RBBC, but the earliest guy who could actually be like a number 1 back, I think would be Naji. Like Michael, I don't know if he could be your true number 1. And then the rest of these guys have to have their own role. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I will see you guys on the far side. Peace.